Hey there, it's o2manyfish. It is beginning of October, and it's sunset time or evening time. We're at like 6:30 p.m. So you're getting the frag tank at one of the better times of day, I think, because at this point we actually get a lot of natural actinic coming down from the sun. So even though we do have a couple of just yard blue LED lights out here, we're actually getting a lot of fluorescing just because of the time of day it is. So anyways, been a while. A lot of people are going, hey, sending me messages, haven't heard from you in a while, is everything okay? Been a lot of stuff going on, and we'll get to that in a minute, but we'll show off some of our babies. And when I say babies, I do mean babies. So over there, we'll come around. These are our bang guys. So we're in the outdoor frag tank, and all of the bang guys that you see throughout this tank, these were all born in this tank this year. These are all our own babies. The parents have been moved out, and we did some changes and some cleanup and stuff and found more babies. And so everybody in here is our babies born March and May this year. And unfortunately, one of the parents passed away middle of summer. So we're gonna wait for these guys to grow up. But anyways, the frag tank, as you can see, is doing more than good. It's doing amazing right now. Things have been good. Been just taking care of it and having fun with it, and actually just leaving it alone. We have picked up some new corals recently. I'm gonna try to be steadier with my hands. Here's some pieces that came from Western Australia. 2 weeks ago, last week, and so these all have been just dropped them in out here in the sun. This is a piece that came from Tonga, came in brown, a couple of, probably 6 weeks ago now, but doing really well. This one also came in from Tonga brown, and it is a really nice purple. There's one of our dragon face. I ended up with a bunch of filefish out here, and they have done an awesome job. They got rid of all of my xenia. So the xenia out here is all gone, and no aptasia, and everything's doing really well. I've actually been working hard at giving away a lot of corals. And most importantly, if you remember my backyard, our 250-gallon tomato bin, rock sump bin is gone. I've been working on redoing the filtration for the system, and it's now pretty much done. It went online a couple weeks ago, and I am finally ready to show it off to everybody. We'll do one more quick run across this side of the frag tank. Let you guys see everything that's going on there. Those are some really cool Monties. I think they're just rainbow Monties, but they love being out here in the sun. Close that back up. Some tricolor. Got a lot of red stuff going on right now. There's a little clam stuck in there. Some purples. Whole assortment of stuff just kind of jumbled in. And so now we're going to step back, step back, step back, step back. So there you have the frag tank sitting outside. And now we're going to look over here. And so here is the new filter system for the whole system. So everything's all connected and run off this one system. And I guess probably we'll start at this end. Or I guess we start at the bottom, right? Bottom first. So bottom first, 300-gallon glass sump. I didn't do much to it. It came with a new tank that I bought for outside, and I took out some baffles. Somewhere one day I'll post pictures of how one person built a really cool crane to lift and flip this tank over and over and over to cut 8 different baffles out of it. And I left the one set of baffles in at the very beginning. Over here we have a 4-sock filter tray that I use the CNC to make out of 1-inch clear acrylic. And here's the first chamber. I've marked everything off in terms of what the different water heights are. To keep track of the water heights, I'm going to try to pull this back and be steady as I can. I built this, and so here is an optical float that measures all the different levels. The bottom of the 3 here is where we want to check. The next one up is called the double check, and the one above that is called the oh shit. And if we're kids watching, don't repeat that, I guess. Who knows? We're still using evaporative cooling, no chiller, so we got a fan that turns on out here automatically. There is about 300 pounds of rock in here. There's also about 10 yellow tangs, a chevron tang, a tomato clown, and some other percula clowns that got transferred over. There's Cato growing in here. We're using an Abyss 200. This contraption here is a feed pipe on the Abyss, so I can just drop all my frozen food right in there, and as it dissolves, it feeds the entire system. It's vented, so it's not vortexing or anything like that. The entire stand, everything out here was designed to be waterproof and rot-proof. So this is all FRP. The upper tank is sitting on an FRP structure egg crate as well. FRP I-beams. That means nothing's ever going to rust, nothing's ever going to rot, and this whole wall is designed, because we're outside, not only to be rained on, but for me to clean with a garden hose when everything's done. So our first chamber here is our Bubble King skimmer, and we got it nice and clean, skimming away. There is a self-cleaning head in there. Let's see, I'll pop that up for you, that I built. This yellow drain here, this is our RO wastewater. So the RO wastewater from our RO system runs into here and then drains out the back and goes to a sewer line. So this is what the skimmer looks like after, I don't know, 2.5 weeks without being touched. So it works out pretty well. Here's part of the control system. You can see waterproof box, that's controlling the things at this end. In the back here is a double optical float. So there's one out the bottom, there's one out the side. This measures a high-low level. I found that the Bubble King skimmers just do not like the water level to change. And once it goes one way or the other, they just start frothing like crazy. So that's set up so if the water level changes, it shuts it off one direction or the other. This is our first cube. And this is just a sump that I had. Actually, this is a tank from Unique Corals that I cut into half to use for this project because it was too big. Here's one of the remaining parent bang guys from outside in this tank. This is a flameback angel that we discovered in the bottom of the rock sump when we emptied it out. I have no idea how long it's been in there or where it even came from. I never put any flamebacks outside. But he's in there. There's also a multi-bar angel that's been in here about 2 weeks. This cube over here, this is holding on to some of my wife's clowns. So we've got, these are from Pro Aquatics. These were picked up after Magna. And we've got a longfin and some snowflakes in there. Up above, and this all drains off into an overflow, which is also filled with Cato. Up above, everything is all done in mostly 2-inch. We have one inline 220 volt heater. I believe that one is 2,500 watts up on top. We have a 4x40 UV up here. We run through the UV, through the heater, and then drop into the entire system. All of this, which I consider part refugium, this drops out here and drops in after the filter socks. Not that it really matters with as much rock as we have, but why not be simple about it? Up here, we have our Kalkwasser reactor. We have our Abyss controller. We have one Abyss running now. We have a second one that we're going to bring online. Here's our dosing pump sitting in the back for our calcium reactor. I'm going to step back here. Here's the fluidized sand filter that I've been using for a decade plus. It was looking a little worse for wear. It's been sitting outside. So this is what it looked like, the bottom half. I cut it and made basically a CNC donut that has a ring or groove and put the clear piece on top. And it's working just great. Here's my calcium reactor tucked in underneath here. I don't like it, but that's a tale for a different day. We're gonna come up on top now. So electrical's not done yet, and it's one of those things that probably never will be. Each one of these in here is a dedicated circuit. Each one is also an audible GFI. So in the event, let's see if I unplug this, in the event that these trip, they beep, which when you have 10 different circuits, not knowing which one beeped is popped is a bitch. So each one of those is an independent circuit. We put a sub panel in just for the aquarium system. Down here is a 220 volt plug. So in addition to the 220 heater up there on the wall, there's also, and I'm trying to be steady for you guys, underneath down in here is a 5,000 watt or 5,500 watt 220 volt titanium immersion heater. So we have an immersion heater down below, we have an inline heater up above. Okay, we have our outlets for controlling one set of all of this equipment here. We have another controller box up here. This is the controller box for the float switches, and so this is all built by me. And basically, this will eventually run 12 different optical float switches. As you can see, it tells you everything's good, add water, oh shit too high, skimmer area issue, upper sump issue. So that's going to be measuring all of that. The cool digital display, that's telling me how much voltage is going in, how much current's being used. I'm a gadget guy. I love all my little lights. I love all my little displays. And then we'll come over here. So this is our 220 control box, and this is controlling all of our 220 volt items. So the indicator lights on here are to tell you when something is on. So for example, if I, boom, so that's telling me one of the heaters is on and running, and then click, our heater's on up there. So the first two are our heaters. The green and the blue are for our biz pumps. We're running the biz pumps at 220 volts. More importantly, we're running them, we hate Apex. Horrible, horrible, horrible product when you have a system this size. Great if you got a little fish tank, not great if you got a real fish tank. So we don't trust it to do anything. So in this case, the Apex only can turn off the Abyss. So if the Apex were to die, like every Tuesday, the pumps keep running, everything keeps running on its own. So these lights will only indicate that we've shut the pumps off, or the pumps have been shut off for some reason, and the rest of the time they're always on. And let's see, shut that off. Click. Okay. And then the last part here, this is the RO system I built. And so this is massive system. We have chloramines in our water. So we're running double super carbon over there. We've got 3 pre-filter stages plus a chlorobuster, dual 150 gallon per day membranes, dual DI chambers. We run a Smart Buddy. We love this. Smart Buddy gives us about a 1-to-1 ratio. Up here we have a TDS monitor. It keeps track of TDS going in, TDS going out, and TDS at the final stage. So we're measuring TDS at 3 different stages. It will be set up. It's not connected yet. It'll tell you when you need to change resin. It tells you when water's being made, and also it has a controller that keeps track of how much water's produced. So eventually I can set an alarm on that. So once I know that I can make 800 gallons on a set of DI, I can then program it, and when it gets to 750 gallons, it'll send me an alert, it'll flash a light. We also have our warning indicator out here in case something's going wrong. And I think the last cool thing to show you, so this is the 220 control box. This is the inside of the 220 control box. So I built all this. This is showing you, we have 236 volts going in on line 1, 236 on line 2. Again, these are both separate breakers, separate circuits in the house. And then this also tells us the amperage. So I know with the immersion heater if it's actually on or not, and I can tell if there's a problem. And again, all of this stuff closes up and everything can hit with a garden hose. So that's our new filter system. Watch for some changes. Hopefully we'll keep cleaning it up and get it better and better and better. Have a good night.